you don't have to eat more than one piece of a shit pie to know it's shit. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to try and figure out, "Oh, well, does it get better?" No,
Right.
no,
No, it's still
shit the
shit
first bite,
the
it's
whole
still
time.
shit. I don't care how pretty the bowl is, they always wanna point to, like, the little things that, "Oh, well, he said love your neighbor." "Oh, yeah, your neighbor were your Israelites, the rest of them you could enslave." It's like, miss me with the
Right.
bowl.
Yeah.
Hallelujah, I am saved, I'm so glad I am. Glory, 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 glory to God.
Hello, heathens. Welcome to Girls Gone Godless, the podcast where leaving the church felt a lot like leaving the club at 2 a.m. The music stopped, the lights turned on, we saw who we were dancing with, and it was not good. I'm Aaliyah.
I'm Christina.
And I'm Noe.
On today's episode, we get to check another name off the list of dream guests. I stumbled onto one of her TikTok lives about deconstruction, and aside from being absolutely stunning, she was spitting so much knowledge about the Bible, all with an amazing sense of humor and so much sass. I was hooked. And I haven't shut up about her in our group chat ever since. So, Miss Christina Carroll, thank you so much for sitting down with us today. You've been on my dream guest list since September, so I am very excited that you're here.
Made it to a list, and that's cool. I think that's
It's a good list, too.
It
It's
is a
not
good
like
list.
a...
yeah. I'm pretty sure I might very well be on a few lists now that I think about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we definitely are too.
Yeah.
Good. That's how I know
Yeah.
I'm doing it right. If I'm on
Right.
someone's shit list, I know I'm doing it right.
Yeah, especially a fascist or a pedophile.
Yep, absolutely.
So what is your religious background, Christina?
So my mom took me and two of my sisters into foster care, but she came and got me a year later. So she had my two sisters, and they were already started being indoctrinated in the church because when she took them in, they went to church. Me, I'm still out in the foster care system. There's no church, no nothing, just, the world, as they would say. So when I come to her, she was like, "You walked in the door doing this dance." It was like the MC Hammer Running Man thing or whatever. And she was like, "You kept trying to teach your sisters how to do this dance." And I was like, "We don't do that whirly stuff in here." And I was like, "I don't know what that means." Right. So
Right.
from the time she took us in, it was shut-ins. And to me, I don't know what a shut-in. I don't know what any of this stuff is. I knew that we were going to go to church and they were going to lock us in. And then kids were going to pray until they fell asleep. And that was odd for me. But, I jumped from holiness to Pentecost to Baptist and non-denominational. Many of them I've been a part of for at least a short period of time. But the indoctrination started at 3, and I didn't leave the church until 2018.
So not very long.
When I dive in, I dive in. When I jump
Yeah.
out, I'll jump out the plane to save my life. Like,
Right.
Good.
So.
Thank goodness.
When you're
Yeah.
committed, you're committed.
I am.
Yeah.
I really am. And, I started doing the lives just asking questions. I didn't even call it deconstructing. I didn't know that's what it was. I was just like, I have questions for believers. And I left the church like, oh, I'm going to get closer to God. And I don't know what you people are talking about. And God's going to teach me himself. Well, I learned something, and it was to get as far away from this religion and religion period as possible. So
I listened to the first episode of your podcast just to kind of get a little background. So was that around the time that you were getting divorced?
I left the church in 2018. I filed for divorce in 2019.
Okay.
So it was a lot. And of course you have like, well, you're just mad at God. You're upset because your marriage is failing. Call it I don't care like what the catalyst. I don't care what started it. It happened and it was necessary, and I'm glad it did, because I see
Right.
things a lot differently now. And I think if I was still there, I'd sound like a lot of the people I talk to, delusional. And that's I don't want that as a mother. My mother passed those things to me
Mhm.
because that's what she knew. That's what she thought was correct. I'm interested in the truth and what's right, and I want to teach my children what the truth is and what is right. So that's not
Yeah.
delusion. That's reality, right? So here you are.
But they're older. So they're teenagers, right?
My daughter's 12, going on 21, and my son is 14.
So you were in the church when they were younger.
When they were younger, yeah. When they were younger, we don't talk about it too much. They haven't been to church since I left the church because, they're with me. Sometimes my son will like poke fun and he'll be like, oh God. I'm like, I'm sorry, mom. I'm like, okay, knock it off. They hear me deconstructing, they hear the conversations, and every now and then they'll say something like that. It's insane that they believe that, especially when
Right.
we get into the assault against children and stuff like that.
I was just going to ask about like your upbringing in church. What was your weekly walk of church? Like, because when I grew up, it was church on Sunday morning, Sunday evening, Wednesday. Like, what did your walk, during church look like?
When my mom took us into foster care, we went to a larger church and she was a seamstress. So she not only made the choir robes and stuff like that, she made the pastor's robes, and we were a part of the Zionettes, which was the children's choir and stuff like that. So we were there frequently for that stuff. You had Monday night prayer, Tuesday night Bible study, midweek service on Wednesday. Thursday, they were going to throw something in there just because it's Thursday. Throwback to Sunday, Thursday, we'll call it. I don't know. Friday, we have like Friday night. They would do stuff for the kids, but you're still at church, right? Saturday, you have your rehearsals, all of your rehearsals for Sunday. And then Sunday, you're there from 11 a.m. until they get tired of talking, which is usually around
Wow.
6 or 7.
That sounds like fucking torture to me.
It's
No days off. Wow.
it's all we knew. Like it's all we knew. We weren't allowed to like watch a whole lot of TV. We weren't allowed to like go hang out at our friends' houses and stuff like that. So it was school and church.
So you play a lot of music on your like battles and your lives. You obviously weren't allowed to listen to secular music when you were younger.
I've always loved music. So I would always find a way to listen to music. So when I was allowed to go to my friends' houses, I remember when Crazy Sexy Cool TLC came out.
Mm-hmm.
I was in my friend's basement jamming. You don't understand. I knew I couldn't wait to go to her house. I knew she had CDs. My mom, she would do this thing though, where like at Christmas, like she knew I loved Mariah Carey. So she would get me a Mariah Carey album. And the next year she would get me like a Monica album. But by the time she started doing that, I was now wrestling with whether I'm being too early or am I doing the wrong thing. So I would do this thing where I would like throw all of my secular music away, only to repurchase it later once I got over that, whatever that manic episode was.
Right.
Like,
I just
fuck.
repurchased it. But we weren't allowed, like our secular music, the closest we could get to it was artists like Kirk Franklin because he was more edgy. Like, and he would get in trouble with the church sometimes because of how edgy he was with his gospel. That was right up my alley. I'm like, I want to stomp too. Like, but I love music. I love artists. That's why it has to be a part of everything that I do. I'm going to have music playing. You're going to hear
Right.
it. You're going to hear me singing to it too.
When you were growing up, did you have friends that were outside of the church? I mean, I know you mentioned the one friend that you would go listen to music in her basement, but like other than that, did you have friends that were non-religious?
I did, like, in school. You know what I mean? Like, most of my friends in school were in school friends. And then when I went home, I had my church friends. I had cheerleading and gymnastics and stuff like that, but those were more activities that I went to do. And then we all just went our separate ways. We would be able to go to like a birthday party or something like that if they had it. But it was really challenging developing friendship because they didn't go to my church. And
Right.
and I
Right.
wasn't allowed to hang out with them. So that made it challenging to develop relationships. And I grew up pretty socially. I'm actually still pretty socially awkward in person. Everyone's like, "You're such a badass online." I'm like, "I'm
I
gonna see
can't.
me in person."
I'm all, we don't relate to that at all.
Not at
No.
all.
So
All of us. the
awkward. I'm
same.
like, "This is weird. I want to go home now." I don't wanna do it anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think, that's you have ADHD too,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Just
that's all of us.
recently diagnosed with that. 39 years, I managed to figure it out, I guess.
I'm 44, but I was 39 when I got diagnosed. And it was during COVID. And I was like seeing all this stuff about inattentive ADHD. And I'm like, wait, what? That you mean my whole fucking life I wasn't just like a bad adult?
TikTok definitely helped me realize that I had autism. It helped people realize they were gay. I'm just like, okay,
Mhm.
it's doing its thing.
TikTok, I've fallen in love with like 7,000 people on TikTok.
I have friends that don't know that we're friends, but they're actually my best friend, and they don't know.
Yes.
Right.
All
Yeah.
those parasocial relationships.
Yeah. I'm delusional about the guests that I think that we can get. I'll message anyone, even like celebrities, and I'm like, it's gonna happen. Like,
Absolutely.
I know it's
It's
gonna
true.
happen. We're gonna be friends. So
Yeah, just letting you know. Check your inbox from 12 years ago, I messaged you first, friend. Okay.
That's so funny.
So, Christina Carol, so did you know that you were bisexual like while you were growing up in church? Is that something that you like wrestled with or dealt with or
I wrestled with it for sure. I didn't necessarily know exactly what to call it. I didn't know that like bisexuality and things like that were a thing. I didn't know anything about sexuality. I was in the church. I knew Jesus, right? Sexuality was not a conversation. I knew we weren't allowed to go to sleepovers because apparently that's how lesbians are made at sleepover parties. And
Well, yeah.
I didn't know there was a process for it, but apparently, so we weren't allowed to do a whole lot of that unless it was like our cousins or things like that. And even that was like sleep with the door open. I'm like, yeah, because my cousin. That's what I'm after. Um,
Right?
I just knew I thought women were so pretty, and I would just find myself just staring like, "You are stunning." I didn't have an idea about it until, of course, go through the ages where you, like, start to feel little things, and then it's
Mhm.
like, kinda wanna kiss her. Like, I don't know why I wanna kiss her, but I kinda wanna kiss her. But I felt the same way about boys, like, it is so I did wrestle with that a lot. I knew better than to talk about it with anyone, and to keep peace in an already tumultuous home, I just kept a lot of my struggles to myself. So,
Right.
I had to deal with, what does this mean? I knew what the church said about it. I had that perspective only, and so I'm like, I'm a sinner, and that fortifies ideas like you were born in sin. So I'm like,
Right.
I didn't do anything to have these feelings, so I must have. I was born this way, but clearly I was born in sin and shaped in iniquity.
Sad. I just feel so sad for kids who are raised like that. Because I know not all religions believe that babies are born sinful, but the fact that there are any that just think from the go, you're just like a piece of shit and you have to work so hard for this impossible thing. Because obviously nobody's ever
Ever.
perfect.
Nope,
So,
not at all. And I was, like, really bad about it. I would, like, argue with people. I would debate the same way I debate now, but from the other side of it. I'm literally arguing with people about, like, LGBTQIA+ and how, you're going to hell. I hope you know it. Like, no, you have to fight your flesh. I know you feel it, but that's just the devil and all it was a projection of how I felt about myself and what I was wrestling with, and I couldn't come to terms with it until I actually came to terms with it, and I was like, "Oh,
right.
okay."
I'm so glad you did.
Yeah.
Because that's such a shitty like thing to deal with inside.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was.
Obviously, I get information from your lives, so I hope that I'm, like, not overstepping here, but the story that you told the other day about you had a girlfriend, was it in
Mhm.
high school or late
Oh, in
teens, early
college.
20s? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, in
My
college.
my first girlfriend was in college that I would actually call my girlfriend.
She took you to her parents' house, and it was a plantation, right?
Yeah.
Was
It was
that
a
the one?
plantation.
Yeah.
The plantation was like, it's a community now. It's like a bunch of huge multi-million dollar homes that are built on this land, but the land is plantation land. And, just very naive and having a moment where I'm like, all the hard work that I did is about to pay off because I'm gonna marry this girl and I'm never gonna have to work again. Like that in my mind, I was set. So I wasn't thinking about the road that we were traveling down that was lined with all these lovely trees, this, weeping willows that people actually wept over this road because we are
Yeah,
driving
right.
down the main road of a plantation. And I'm like, mm. Cringy, cringy
Mm.
girl. I did not know at all. It was that was an interesting experience, and I'm appreciative of it. I needed it. I think that's when I kind of realized that how easy it is to be out of touch with a lot of things and how much I needed to get on the right side of life, the right side of history in many ways, and all because of the way that I was taught to look at life, the way that I was taught to look at the world through the lens provided by Christianity. It skews a lot of things for you. And until you are able to take a step back and really break down that dogma,
Mm.
break down the truth of the matter, you're going to find yourself easily leaning to the wrong side of things because somehow it's justified. There is a scripture that will justify it. If God be for me, it's more than the world against me. Fuck him. I
Right.
don't
Yeah.
care. Fuck him.
But since you were dating somebody in college and you were obviously still Christian at that point,
Mhm,
correct? And
mhm.
from what you told in the story, that her parents were accepting, right? I mean, because, you're a person of color, you were obviously gay, and they were still very accepting of you. So that is silver lining. I
Yeah.
mean, they lived on a plantation, so that was pretty shitty. But like in like the big scheme of it, like they weren't
Mhm. No, they were
terrible
lovely
people.
people. She was a
Yeah.
psychopath, Max, but her parents were lovely, lovely people.
And so when did you meet your ex-husband? Was that a church thing or was
No,
he religious?
he's a PK. He's a pastor's
Pastor's kid.
kid.
Okay.
Oh.
But we went to the same high school, and he was Mr. Popular, star of the varsity basketball team. His girlfriend at the time in high school was in my grade, so he's 2 years ahead of me. I would see her crying in the hallway because he was a playboy, and I was just like, "Could never be me, sis." And then I married him, and
Right.
but he graduated, and I forgot all about him because who is he? I don't know this man. Um, Facebook. That's why I say Facebook is hell because it reconnect. There's too many
Yes.
people that know me from any period of my life, right?
Mhm.
Too much
But
access.
he messaged me one day, and I was just like, "Oh, he fell off." You know, like a lot of life had happened since I seen him last.
Mhm.
Um, but we chatted it up, and a marriage and 2 kids and a divorce later, here we are, and
Wow.
he's just as annoying as he was when I left him.
So then did you go to church together, like throughout your marriage?
We did. He was the minister of music. I was praise and worship. And then I started going into ministry. And I remember I did my initial sermon at the church and it was so performative. When I tell you the tears, the like, shut up. You know, like we're gonna get in the car and not speak to each other the entire way home. Like, what are we
Mhm.
doing? You know?
Right.
Um, but y'all, I don't know how much I want to talk about. I'm just
We
being
can
real
talk.
honest because
Everything, anything.
if there's anything worse than the pastors of the church, it's they fucking kids.
Mhm.
Now I get it. I empathize. There's a lot of pressure because y'all are the pastor's kids, right? So everyone's looking at you to set an example, but they also let you get away with bloody murder.
Mm.
They let you get away with everything. When I tell you not a single person would hold that man accountable, oh, but you just gotta pray, keep praying, keep fasting. I would be emaciated and damn near dead if I fasted. I remember when it was another moment of his stepping outside of our marriage, and I just got really upset. And his parents lived 2 houses down, and
Right.
I told her, and she was like, "Well, I mean, are you being faithful,
Oh, Jesus
y'all?"
Christ.
It
Are
took
you
every
kidding?
it took all my ancestors to hold me into that chair. And I was just like, "Excuse me? I'm coming to you as a woman first, as a wife and a
Wow.
mother." And that's when I knew I was like, "Okay, it's never going to be an honest conversation. It's never you're I can never come to you even as my pastor because you're always going to be his parents."
Yeah.
Right.
She's always gonna be his mom first
That's
before she's
mama
anything else.
yeah.
Which says
Yeah.
to me that the dad was probably doing the same things and she accepted it. Like, that's just how it is. That's how it is. Right. Yep.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I ain't here to gossip about folk business. I just,
Yeah. We are.
and you can see a lot of that behavior in the church. You see it all the time
Mhm.
because pray through it. It's an attack of the enemy. And a lot of people who are married shouldn't be married. A lot of people in the church get married because they want to have sex.
Mhm.
Right.
And the only way sex is okay is if you're married. So they marry the first little boy or girl that comes along. And it's like you realize, I don't even like you. I don't want to talk to you. The way you breathe irritates me,
Yes.
you
And you
know?
have nothing in common outside of church.
Nothing in common.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't watch anime. What is that? Like,
My ex-husband and I are best friends now, but
Excuse me?
like my
Oh.
ex-husband,
I thought we were best
yeah,
friends.
I mean, we are, but you know what I mean. We co-parent peacefully, but like, you look at them and go, "What the fuck was I thinking? I had sex with you. We got our kids, but it's like,
At
what?
what cost? Just kidding.
so much sacrifice made. Time being one of them. The experience not so thrilling. When when I say I look at him, I'm like, choices were made, and the thought is repulsive now. Of course, it's like I would
Yeah.
never.
We all have those.
Mhm.
But he has to look at you and be like, God, what did I
Damn.
fucking do? Like, I let
Yeah.
that go.
Fumbled the
Well,
bag.
like right after we got divorced, we got married not too long after that. She had already like was pregnant and stuff like that. I was like, oh wow.
Because they were already doing it and stuff when you guys were together.
Yeah.
Like she was one of
Yeah.
the yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
think that we can't math. Is that what it is? We can't
It's like
count
that.
backwards.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. You have a lot of siblings, correct me if I'm wrong. 2 biological sisters,
That I
right?
was raised with, yeah.
You
But I'm like 13.
Did you say 13?
those are all biological, like same parents?
Yeah.
Or
Oh, same. Now listen, this is the funny thing. When you're a foster kid, you get to be imaginative. You can just make up the story in your mind. So in my mind, I knew my mother's name was Angela Davis, right? I just knew the civil rights activist. I don't know how it happened, but in my mind, I was like, probably her, you know? And I met her and I grew up thinking like all of like they had all these children together. I was like, they must have really just fallen on hard times and had to give us all away. And then I was like, oh no, she has 5 baby daddies. I was like, oh, that makes more sense. It really shattered the story I had made up in my mind. It was like a Hallmark movie. I knock on the door at Christmas, they open it, there are tears. No, that was not how that went down. Not at all. Not at all.
So when you talk about being raised in the church, is this when you were back with your biological mother, or was this a foster adoptive mother?
Foster adopted mother. So I was placed
Okay.
in foster care when I was 3. She adopted us when I was 7. But yeah, she was a church lady. My
and you
adopted mother.
still have a good relationship with your mom?
Oh, no, not necessarily.
Okay.
The thing is, I'm at a point in my life where I'm willing to protect my peace at all costs. And if we're not gonna deal with the truth of the thing, I'm not dealing with it at all. I don't wanna come over for holidays and family functions to sit around and just placate your feelings. Because why am I putting myself in an uncomfortable position just so you can be comfortable? We could all be comfortable if we just put it all out there and have the necessary conversations about things that happened,
Right.
didn't happen, should have happened, or
Right.
me and mine are gonna be over here, but we don't have to create a reality for ourselves, right?
Period. I'm, not religious and not on the same political spectrum as most of my family and my husband's family. So it just always feels like so much tension, which shouldn't be there. Can we just not talk about those things? But it's always the first thing that everybody gets into is politics or religion. And then it's super uncomfortable. And I'm like, why did I fucking do this again? Every year. I'm like, I'm not going to do this.
Not me, Jack. I will cook right here at the house. I created my own family. I talked about it on the live the other day. The thing about being adopted was I had a different idea of what family was. Family wasn't well, it was forced, but I knew that you could create one if you know.
Right.
So I made my friends like I have my best friend of 25 years. Like that's their aunt. I have my sisters who I'm still very close with. I know my biological family now, but I keep people where I feel like they're safest for me. And if that means that the people who raised me are not in close proximity to me, that's fine too.
Yeah, especially with stuff that happens during your childhood. Like if
Mhm.
we can't even agree on the same reality, there's no way that I can have a relationship with you. Like at least admit these things happened and that wasn't right. How could we have any sort of real relationship when you're in 2 different realities?
Yeah.
Right. And I'm
Yeah.
grateful. I am grateful for my mother. She did a lot. She took on 3 children, like 3 little girls who were very close in age and did it by herself. She worked a full-time job. She went to school and, until she got into her relationship with my now stepfather, like she was doing it all on her own and was doing a phenomenal job for the most part. You know what I mean? Now, there were things that, of course took place, but like for her doing it on her own, I think that took a lot. And I feel like I know her intentions behind doing it were to help people. And I'll never take that credit from her. I love you, but that's not enough for me to stick around and be abused either. So
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like just because someone raised you doesn't mean that they're entitled to have a relationship with you later on
Right.
in life. Like if you
Yeah.
did shitty things and you don't acknowledge the shitty things, you don't get to be part of my life or my kid's life. Because why would I expose them to a person that's like that? Here's looking at you, grandma.
I'm talking to you.
Talking to you, Alicia Hug.
Oh, We're bringing out the names, huh?
Or whatever your last name is now that you're on husband number 7.
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
So, what prompted your exit? I always liken leaving the church either like in one of two ways. Was it a light switch or was it a sunrise? Did something like big happen where it's just this instant moment of, oh, this is all bullshit and I'm out? Or was there like gradual kind of coming out and leaving the church?
I started training for ministry. So I was taking courses at the church. We had to do a lot of studying and testing and things like that. And the more I was reading, I would just ask questions like, how do you expect me to just have? I felt like a lot of the classes, it was just church over again, where like the teachers like reading the thing and then they're kind of expounding on it. But I'm like, oh, I have a question. Well, what about this, you know? And no one really could answer the questions for me. It was always a matter of like, oh, go read this, go read that. And I actually had one of the ministers in the church say, we don't question God, we trust God. And for most of my life, even up until that point, that's how I operated. It was a faith thing. I don't know at what point of this process my cognitive dissonance started to crack, you know what I mean? And like things just is like, oh well, all right, well fine. How about this? I'm gonna leave the church. I knew I was leaving the church, but I was not leaving God. And that was my whole thing to my mom at the time. I'm not leaving God, I'm leaving the church. And there's a scripture where Paul says, I'm thoroughly persuaded, right? And he's talking in relationship to God and how he communes with God and he knows that God is real. And I remember praying this prayer and I said, God, I want to know you for myself. I don't want to know you based off what anyone told me, based off of anything that I read. I need you to teach me, show me what I need to know. And I was gonna go on this journey with God and God alone. It was like things started happening that did make my exit easier. My best friend is a lesbian, and her girlfriend at the time, they met in Peace Corps. She was about to graduate from her doctorate program, and they were going to do a surprise proposal. I'm over the moon. I've been friends with this girl most of my life. I was so happy for her. So I'm church girl, still in church doing it, but I love my friend and I see her being loved properly and she's smiling from ear to ear. She has the support. So I'm video recording it and I'm uploading like the videos to Facebook. And at the time I was still very active on Facebook. That's just where I did a lot of my stuff.
Mhm.
I had, like, people from my church like, "You're promoting this, and you're supposed to be speaking out against it." Mind you, at the time, my husband at the time was, like, cheating and doing all that stuff. I'm like, "He's being loved properly, and you want me to, like, speak out against that, but you keep telling me to pray for him and don't speak out against him? That's crazy to me." So that made, like, walking away from the church a lot easier, but I didn't know that walking away from church would mean, like, diving into study and walking away from it altogether. At the time, I had no idea. No idea.
isn't that disgusting how they'll protect the worst of the worst with my family because they're Mormon? It's like the second I got a tattoo or I wore ripped jeans, I'm like the worst person in the family. But meanwhile, there's actual real abuse happening. I'm like, well, guys, right?
Boys will be boys.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean it's in their scripture, it's in their doctrine, right? Like there's
Mm.
the example in the story with Lot and Sodom and Gomorrah where like there's angels inside of his house and the guys come and are like, we want to have sex with those angels. And he's like, no, have my underage daughters instead. And they're like, okay, cool. Right. Like that's fine.
Right.
So
That's
obviously it's okay, you know.
it's because it's not the violation itself, it's who it happens to in the text. If
Mhm.
you look at the text, a lot of the same things are happening throughout the text. It's who God has deemed worthy of protection and who he has called his chosen and who he hasn't. So it's like he has rules for his people and anyone outside of his, even in his chosen, but he had very specific people in the text that were like, we'll go harm his wives instead of harming
Right.
him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because women are property. They're property of their father or their husband. They're chattel. They had no options.
Yeah, that's why it's always so hard for me to understand, and I know that there's brainwashing, and I know it's indoctrination, and I know it's what people learn from birth, and it's just what they know, but I just like, can't you see how shitty they are to women? Like, not even like all the other stuff. If we just pick one thing, like they hate
They hate
women. The whole book fucking hates women. And if
Uh-huh.
you love women and you think women are valuable outside of having babies or taking care of a house, how can you look at that book and go like, it's fine?
So- well, think about it. Creation, like you see women create, women give birth, women get pregnant, but the story of creation doesn't involve a woman doing anything.
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
You'd rather convince people to believe that in one he spoke them into being, and in another he played in some dirt, and then put that man to sleep, and then took his rib. Let's be serious. Like
He roofied him and then
he roofied the man. Wait till he was good and inebriated. Laid him down, and when he woke up, there was a woman next to him. Odd.
and not even the first woman, just a less
Less
outspoken
independent.
woman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he was like, that last one, that Lilith one, she had to go. She caught on too fast. Eve caught on. She just caught on a little bit later. He was able to get some naming of animals and stuff done without all that nagging in his ear, right? But Lilith had to get up out of there. That's all.
Oh my gosh. And that's what the biggest argument I feel like on your lives. It's like these men come on and they're like, but he created life. And it's like, no, bitch, I've created life. Like
Right.
I have videos you want to see? Like there's no proof that that man did.
Who created you? Who created your mother? How'd they get here?
They just have to take credit for everything. Like
Mhm.
they can literally see women are giving birth and they're like, somehow a man did this. I don't know how,
did.
but some kind of magical man in the sky did this because certainly a woman couldn't. That's more reasonable.
And then he could never do that again. Like that's never been
Never again.
replicated since then, even though like we could use some extra organs for the people that need organ transplants. Wouldn't that be a
Right.
miracle that he would want to perform? Or like all the women who go through like IVF or battle with fertility, wouldn't you let God just replicate that for them? Or no? No?
No, he doesn't speak to us the way he spoke to them in the Bible because they had more faith, is what they will tell me. Is what they will tell me.
They always want you to keep striving for something that's unachievable, right? Like
Mhm.
we will never have as much faith as the people did in the Bible, or like we will never be perfect like the people were in the Bible, because then we wouldn't have to go to church anymore, right? So
Right.
as long as there's a goalpost to keep aiming towards, they keep people in church and they keep getting their tithe money, and then the pastor can have a jet plane or whatever.
Or
Like,
2, yeah. It's like, of course
Yeah.
they had more faith. It says that he walked with them and talked with them. He was a
Mhm.
pillar of fire at night and a cloud in the daytime. Of course, if they did have more faith, it's because their God was actually there with them in this story. He's not here now. The mortality rate, right, for mothers giving birth. Are we serious? But you can create life,
Mhm.
but mothers, like, die having babies? What are we talking about? Help me understand it.
Well, that's Eve's fault.
Do not get me
obviously.
started.
Yeah.
I'll try my best.
Or do.
Ali-
or do.
Yeah. Aaliyah's a midwife and going to school to be a nurse because of that.
Woo!
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense, y'all.
It does not.
No.
And everybody in the lives that come on to argue with you, it's just the same fucking thing. Number one, it's always a lot of the same people. And I love your face when they come on and you're like, oh God, here we go again.
Because they're insufferable.
They are.
They
They
have to be
are.
right. You weren't right the last time you came up. You weren't right the time.
Like what makes you think that you're going to be right this time?
Well, I like asking questions when I was doing them because I had like switched gears a bit. But I like to ask questions, not so much Bible book, like the book based. Like I'm not arguing the Hebrew of a thing. And while I understand that is important in deconstruction to understand the root of where everything comes from, so you can kind of break down how things were translated, so that you can see where the inconsistencies are. But how the church preaches it has nothing to do with what the words mean, which is why when we talk to them on the panel, they don't know what the words are. And they're like, that's not even in there. Slavery is not. Have you read this? Have you read about David and Bathsheba? Like, before we go into this story, and you, because you're gonna rage like on me for like reading your book to you, and that's usually what happens. I don't interpret the Bible; I read it. And they're like, you're twisting the word. How? I just
The
read it.
the words are right there. You can read it for yourself. And this seems to be a common theme, like amongst people that we've talked to, is the more that somebody actually reads the Bible, the less they believe in the stories and everything that's happened. Like the people that are
Absolutely.
truly knowledgeable about what the Bible says have left organized religion.
It's true. And the ones that know what it actually says and stay, they're grifters.
Yeah.
And they actually become like pastors of mega churches. Here's looking at you, Joel Osteen.
You bitch.
I wanted to do it and leave it because it was funny.
Yeah, no, do it again.
Yeah.
This is for you, Kenneth Copeland.
All of them. Yeah. But because they know and they break these things down when they go to seminary. So it's like they give you all of the information. They don't allow you to use the King James version of the Bible for obvious reasons. It's one of the worst translations of the book, right?
Oh.
There are versions of this text, the NRSVUE being one of them, that is the most closely translated from the Hebrew text that we have. But you guys are still reading from the translation from the guy who not only wrote the Book of Demonology that you would absolutely shun, but had his mother beheaded. That's the version you want.
Like that's your man.
That's your man's? You know he had a boyfriend, right? No? We don't wanna talk about him? One day when I brought that up, he was livid. What? Sir, please. You don't know anything. I can't argue with I'm not gonna do it. Go Google that and come back and talk to
Right.
me when you're
Yeah,
done.
that's always they're like they get quiet and you realize that like they're like looking it up because she's like, well, this and this and this. And they're like, I've never heard that because they're only going by what their pastor is telling them on Sundays and they don't look at it ever again during the week. And then he's like, this is what it means. And and then you're pulling up all this information and they're like, well, I've never read that. So frustrating.
First it's not in there, then we go to it and read it, and then I twisted it.
Right.
You didn't know it was there. But then they have the context to give me. How are you gonna give me context to a scripture that you didn't know was there?
Mhm.
Oh, but they have the Holy Spirit, and I don't have the Holy Spirit, which is why they're able to understand it like that. But your Holy Spirit has you justifying rape and slavery and genocide. That's what your Holy Spirit has you do. That's what you have to align yourself with when you align yourself with this text.
And when they can't argue back, they always just fall back on, well, we can't possibly understand God. I don't know why God would kill thousands of babies in the flood, but somehow they probably deserved it. Just like, okay.
Well, and
yeah.
the plants deserved it too because all the plants died in the flood too. So God hated the plants that he made also. And the animals were all wicked too. Really?
Sinful ficus. Sinful ficus. They were wicked.
How dare the Pothos?
Wicked willows is what we'll call them going forward, just so you know.
Wicked. Yep.
Wicked.
And if he's perfect, why did he make them that way to begin with? He knew that he was going to make these shitty people and then kill them and like just make them right the first time.
Don't question his plan, Noe.
Sorry.
Because he's actually Sid. I tell people all the time, he's Sid. He's sitting there destroying things. He takes your toys and he breaks them apart and he puts one part on another. It's just a very sadistic character. I'm like, if you just look at it like you would read any other book without faith, you would see this character and be like, he's a psycho. Like
He's the
Right.
bad guy.
the bad
Yeah.
guy.
Mhm.
Like he kills more people than the devil does in the Bible.
By millions. And the only people that Satan unalives is at the permission of the God. Those are his bodies too. As far as I'm concerned, Satan doesn't have any bodies on him. He
No,
is
because God made Satan.
he's the muscle. He's a tool.
I've always looked at the devil like, well, if he's punishing like, how is he not the good guy in this story? If he's supposedly punishing people who are doing bad, and God is punishing people who are doing whatever, why does that make him the bad guy? But
Because
don't know.
they need to put a bad guy. They need to create a villain so you don't pay attention to the villain.
Right,
To the
it's
true
like
villain.
sleight of hand. Look
Right.
over here.
Oh,
Look
look
over
what
at
he's
this
doing.
guy.
I told him to do it, but look at what he's doing. He did that. I'm just gonna go
Mhm.
slaughter all these babies over here. Just focus over there. Focus over there for me.
Yeah. And I obviously don't believe in the devil either, but I love leaning into that shit because it just pisses Christians off.
Because he would
I'm
be
like,
the good character. He's the only one in the garden that told the truth, right? He did not lie. God did. He said they were gonna die when they ate their fruit. They did. And I'm like, well, they started dying. I'm like, did their eyes start opening? No, because their eyes opened immediately, just like he said they would. We just lie now. You have to lie to make it. And I'm like, I think a lot of the reason why a lot of the people come back is because like we pierce something in them And it's like now they're wrestling with everything. So they come to hear what we have to say. They yell at us about it, and then they think about it until my next live.
Yeah. They're probably just fuming the whole time.
I feel like you have to make a difference in somebody. And I mean, as long as it's, even if it's just one person, you're doing the Lord's work, but you make them question, you do it in such a way that is, you're educated, you know what you're talking about. Your panel is educated. They know what they're talking about. And all these people have is like, well, like, you know, have faith or da da da.
And that's what I was gonna say earlier. Like, the conversations that I enjoy having are not necessarily what does it say, right? Because my stance is and always will be, we have to live in this world together regardless of what you believe in, right? So I need you to know why you believe what you believe. A lot of people don't know why they believe what they believe. They just don't. They believe it because they were indoctrinated to believe it, or people find God in the gutter. People find Jesus in hell. Like that's the only places you can find him. So you find him at these low places in life where it's like a beacon of hope that somebody gave you, which is fine. If that's what you needed to get out, cool. But you didn't, like, you stopped right there and you signed a contract with your soul. And then you didn't go any further because it made you feel something different. But in the world that we live in, where all of our humanity is being challenged, can I lock arms with you, or can I not lock arms with you and fight back against oppression and bigotry and things that are harming our society because you look at me as a sinner because I don't believe in the God that you believe in? That's what we have to talk about. And those are the types of conversations. It's more morality than anything. I need to know why you are going to justify this. Is this justifiable? One. So I do a lot of like analogies. I'll do an analogy and I'll watch the logic. They'll follow it. And it's like, oh, if a person did that, they're evil. Oh, they need to go to jail. They need to be locked up. Okay, well, God did. Well, now that's different. No, how? How? It
Because
doesn't.
he created life, because he loves all of us. That's like their whole argument.
A person with morals. Like, well, you're an
Yeah.
atheist, so you don't even know what morals are. Okay.
That's the thing
drives
that
me
gets,
nuts.
that I think that drives all of us nuts, because what do you mean that the only reason that you do right or wrong is because some invisible guy in the sky tells you what is right or wrong, when the rest of us who don't believe in this invisible sky person know the difference between right and wrong just because we're good people? Like, what do you mean?
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
They won't see, they can't see it, and I had to be okay at a certain point, and I think that's when I stopped doing the deconstruction lives. I was there. Like, I know what it feels like to be on that side. I'm, past the angry part that wants to argue about it. I would hit that go live ready to go some days. Like, I don't first person comes up, you're getting this work. And then it was like, I had to remember, like, I very much so believed in the God of this book. I very much so believed that he was coming back. I very much so believe that a lot of the things and the harm and things that I went through were for a purpose.
Right.
So when I was, violated as a child, that I think that's what kind of keeps some of us in the church alive. Like, well, I have to live because someone else may go through this. Instead, the question should be, why did I go through this? And if God is real, why is he allowing this? Why is he allowing people to go through this? Why is he allowing children to go through
Right.
this? Why is he allowing any of it at all? We
Right.
don't ask those questions though.
He's too busy helping someone find their car keys.
He can't answer the prayers about people with cancer or kids who are being harmed or the genocide that's going on in the world. He can't answer those prayers, but yeah, he can help find a parking spot and help find some keys.
Something I've always wondered is, like, why is it the more prayer, the better? You know what I mean? Like a prayer chain. Like, oh, we all have to pray. Like, how many people have to pray to get God to listen? He's like, I need at least 20 more people before I, listen to you guys. None of it
Yeah,
makes sense.
it doesn't. And
Like, why should you have to ask him at all? If he, like,
at all.
just do it. You should know.
You see, don't you? Like, aren't you Jehovah Rohi, the God who sees? Apparently, you need glasses because there's so much going on that is right under your nose and you're missing it, friend. But apparently, you know all things from the end to the beginning, so you knew these things were going to happen, and you're allowing it anyway. Doesn't make you good.
Right.
I tell people all the time, if he did exist, fuck him.
Yeah.
Thank you. He's a dick if he's real.
It's his plan. Oh, this is God's plan. Do you hear what you're saying?
Right.
God's plan is for children to starve and die. God's plan is for Sudan and Gaza. That's the plan.
He likes the suffering because he's letting it happen.
So
Well,
he's just some dude sitting in the sky just getting off on people, like getting killed, and he's just sitting back laughing with his friends, like they're just like stoned sitting up there just like laughing at us. Oh, it's insane. And when people say it's God's plan at the worst possible fucking times, it's like, really? Like cancer's God's plan? I had a miscarriage and my neighbor was like, "Oh, it must be God's plan." To me, I'm a scientific person. I understand. It was very sad. The reason behind it was obviously there were cells that did not work right. And my body said, "Nope, this doesn't work." Okay. Give me that all day fucking long. I will take that and go, "Okay, this is what happened and it sucks, but we're going to move on from it." It pisses me off more when you're telling me that some fucking sky daddy is down here going, "Nope, not this time. Sorry."
Right.
Deck 'em. Just deck 'em right in the mouth, and then walk away. And when they say, "Why did you do that?" Say, "It was a part of God's plan," and then just walk away. But
I love
what?
that.
If
I'm gonna be
that
using
makes sense to you, then by all accounts, let it make sense
Right.
throughout. Let your logic travel throughout your life.
Yeah.
You know, and that's part of my
So-
frustration. I'm like, you guys don't utilize this weird warped face thinking with any other area of your life. You're not going to go to work and be like, on payday, oh, it may not come when you want them. It's going to be right on time. No, you're not going to do that. Where's my money? Where I worked, I did the thing that you told me to do, and you're supposed to give me the reward or the benefit from having done said work. But when it comes to God, you can do everything you believe you're supposed to do, and he doesn't have any obligation to do anything.
Like, that
Yeah.
makes sense to you?
Right. And when has a man ever had a good plan?
So you started your lives, you had already started deconstructing.
I had already started deconstructing. I just didn't know what it was. Like I was reading certain things, and I was like a YouTube warrior at the time. I was like, oh, let's watch this video and piss myself off for the next 3 hours. So I was doing that. But I was going live doing like my makeup and music, and that was pretty much the format in the beginning, and just having conversations with folks. And then I bumped into, I don't know whose live it was first, either Deconstruction Justin or Thinker. And I was like, oh, well, people actually, we can talk about religion online. I was like, well, I have some questions. Maybe people want to talk to me about them. So that's when I started doing them. And I went from like, 25 people in a room one day, and I looked up and it's like 500. And I'm like, y'all are really into this, huh?
Yeah. And your panel is just people that you've met along the way and
On live. Yeah. I met a lot of them for the first time on like a trip one time. This is really, really cool. I say that I have someone on panel for everybody. So I have Mac, Fee, and then, people like bounce in and out, and Thinker will come up, Bash will come up. It's just certain people I try and see who they gel better with in the conversation. And every now and then you get cursed at a lot, and you're gonna get called a lot of names, but the people love that too. I don't
right.
I don't know why y'all like being talked to that way, but
It's a kink for some.
it's a thing.
Yeah, it is.
Sure.
Right, Christina?
Yes.
Which one?
Oh, me, Christina. Christina the Godless. Something flutters somewhere when Aaliyah yells at me.
I don't like it. I like to be praised a lot.
There is somebody that comes into your lives, and I cannot remember his name. He comes in a lot, but you had an argument with him about the babies bashed against the rocks, whatever that story is. You were like, just find me a situation where it's justified for this baby to be bashed against the rock. Oh my God. It was like an hour of him going, okay, so I guess finally he came around to some story of like, well, what if I was like cornered in an alley and this baby was going to kill me
Baby,
and I couldn't escape?
you have to turn it into a comic book. You'd have to actually make it a comic book. It's not a real situation. There is no situation where a baby being dashed against a rock is ever appropriate. It's
Well,
just not.
Say the baby has an AK-47. Then can we?
He goes, what if people are chasing me and they say that they're going to kill me unless I kill the baby? Still not justified.
The hoops they will jump through.
It's bad. It gets bad. And I just be sitting like my face tells on me every time.
Yep.
I go into this live, I'm like, Christina, watch your mouth and your face. Watch your mouth and your face. And I'm like, I look at myself in the mirror, I say, we're gonna do a good job today. And then someone says something like that, and my face goes,
And she's usually eating like Twizzlers or
yeah.
something.
It's so great. That's why I got into your I mean, obviously you're on my For You page because I'm on deconstruction, ex-Mormon, ex-evangelical, like all of that TikTok. And I was just like, what is going on in here? And that was so
Sounds
great.
like a damn good time.
Looking gorgeous, talking shit to Christians and just going like, what the fuck? And I'm like, that is the exact same face I make on the podcast every goddamn time we record. It's the same thing. And then it was like, oh, and then she has ADHD. Oh, and she's bi. Oh, and she has 2 kids with her ex-husband. And I was like, okay, can we please be friends
Absolutely.
in real life? So please come on my podcast. Because, yeah. And then I was on your live the other night with Tyler.
Uh-huh.
And I was having so much fun. You were just talking and picking music and having people pick songs. It's just like so fun.
I tell people all the time, like Tyler, she's absolutely amazing. I only met Tyler a few months ago on TikTok.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were like related.
When we're on live together, it's very much like a FaceTime. And she was doing the deconstructing, but she started on the political side of it. And then she started dabbling in the deconstruction. And then she was like, oh no, honey. That's how she talks. Oh no, honey. I've had enough of that. She's the one that gave me like the shit pie thing. Like I don't have to eat enough of it. That was Tyler.
Right.
But we just have a really good time. And she's from Louisiana. So, she's fun.
Yeah.
She's sassy.
That's me when I'm outside of the deconstruction space. And I think one of the reasons that I knew it was time to transition out of that space is because I was spending too much time doing something that didn't feel good for me. Conversations are natural for me. Discussing topics and breaking things down and exchanging those thoughts is really fun and natural for me. Yelling at people is not natural for me. I don't yell at my children. I mean, every now and then I have to elevate my tone slightly, but I don't like I don't like screaming at children. I'm like, we're not calling each other names. I don't do that with anyone in my life. Why am I doing it with y'all for free? That's crazy. That's insane, actually. Yeah.
There's people that would pay you to do it.
Right. Was that for Christina? God.
It's just in general.
So I know you have
Discord.
A Discord, but do you have a Patreon or do you have any type of, besides your fan club, like monetized?
No,
thing?
I should look into that. Note to self.
Do you need merch?
Everyone says, I say beloved a lot. And I'm like, beloved, please.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, you need the beloved please shirts. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Seriously, you need a shirt. Because if I didn't like you so much, I would probably steal some of these from you. But you one day said, you're not chosen, bitch. You're delusional. And I was like, you need to put that shit on a shirt. And if you can't vote them out, buy them out. I was like, oh, yep, you need merch for
Yeah,
sure.
you gotta monetize that.
People look at me as like a very materialistic person, but I'm like, I know what it feels like to have nothing. I was born to crackheads. Like, what do you mean? I want all of it. Give me everything, and then I'll help people with what I get. And I'm like, you want to change the government? Well, I'm not voting. All right, then get rich enough to buy them out. That's what they're doing. They just have the money to buy it. All right, I'll see your 3 million, and I'll raise you. Get out. I just want enough money to like Uncle Phil him out the door. You know that scene where he like takes Jazz and he like tosses it. I want to do that so bad, but I have to have the money to do so. Until then, I'm just yelling and quoting. That's all.
Right.
But yeah, I love the conversations about deconstruction, but I think it got to a point where like I just felt like we were kind of punching down. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want to hurt anybody. And when I would get upset, it's I'm not angry at the person because I know why they think the way they think. And I don't think a lot of times us in our deconstruction live spaces extended that grace. Like you think this way because the book tells you to think this way.
Right.
Yeah. Or that the pastor tells you to think this way.
Because it's the pastor, because it's not the book.
I definitely feel like there's a lot of atheist men online, especially that some of them I can't even watch because they're so demeaning and so mean. And for me, that's a lot because I love to make fun of people. You know what I mean? But like, it gets to a point where I'm like, okay, this is really like mean spirited almost.
Yeah, and I've had those conversations. I would have those conversations with people towards the end of me doing the deconstruction lives. I'm like, listen here, how about this? Chances are you wouldn't say half the things you say to these people that you say to them online in real life. So if we're not going to interact with them in a way that we would want to be
Right.
interacted with, just don't come on my panel so that you don't have to worry about disrespecting this space again. People don't realize that I work full time, Monday through Friday. I'm live and working at the same time. Tell me I got ADHD. I got this. Like, is it done properly? I'm pretty sure I'm sending some emails to the wrong people, but that's neither here nor there, you know?
Fine. I'm still getting paid.
Fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We'll fix it later. But I would be in the middle of something and I would hear something. I'm like, and I would immediately go to the Discord. That's not okay. I don't want to hear that ever again. Don't
Right.
do that. And then after a while, I'm like, y'all are not my employees. I can't keep telling y'all to stop doing that. We'll do that in another space. Don't do that here. I think a lot of people
Mm.
are angry, and I feel like they're justified in the fact that we know more. We know more scripture. We know more historical context and things like that. So that gives me the right now. But I was like, you just took the title off of Christianity. Like you're still a Christian.
Mhm.
You're still behaving like a Christian,
Right.
or like we did in the church. Some of the meanest people I knew were in the church, and I feel like sometimes maybe like I'm like we're just as mean. It's just without God, like, or
Right.
anti-God, like, whatever.
Right.
It wasn't okay. I didn't like it. I didn't like how I felt when I would get off live. I would have people reaching out to me like, "I really enjoyed talking to you, but I can't come back on your panel." I'm like,
That's
"Fair.
fair.
They did
Yeah.
handle you kinda crazy today. I'm not even gonna hold you." I wanna have the conversation still just in a different way that's healthy.
Right.
You know, these are already challenging conversations, and if you're trying to work through an ego to have it, it's not gonna work. No one's hearing
Mhm.
anyone, and I'm gonna get
Right.
banned again.
Again.
Yeah.
So obviously you've left religion. Do you have a relationship with spirituality or something bigger than yourself, as I would say?
I very much believe in the, like, venerating my ancestors. You guys will hear me on live. Sometimes I'll be like, "Yeah, mama, I know." Like, 'cause, like, I have my mom's ashes here. And I'll just be, like, laughing or I'll think about something I said, and I always say it's her. But, like, it's just it's a part of who I am. I feel like that code that's written on our DNA, all that a lot of that stuff does, I feel like, kinda come through, but it's not in the sense that there is, like, a ghost following me around the house, but it's, like, more so that imprint of who my ancestors were, where we come from, what I can deduce from the little bit of knowledge that I have, and just knowing, like, no matter who they were, I'm here, so they were strong enough to make sure that I got here, so that I can be
Right.
strong enough to make sure that I can continue on. But yeah, I honor my ancestors because I know the story of our people and stuff like that, so that's all. I burned sage, and it got me in trouble in a video that's probably the most views, comments, shares, reposts, emails, text messages that I got, 'cause I was like, "I burn sage and I burn bridges."
Another T-shirt.
Mhm.
Write
Mhm.
that write that down. But
Episode title.
episode title, yeah. That might, you know what? Someone commented on it. Just a random, like, Christian, like, "It's witchcraft." I was like,
Oh.
"Alright."
Christianity is witchcraft.
And because
Now
now I have to open
Okay.
a can of worms for you, and you're gonna hate this. And I tell you, I got so much. I've never seen people so visibly upset with me through words in my DM. I'm like, "Oh, don't get mad at me because your God has y'all slitting animals' throats over rocks and calling them, don't get mad at me because 'cause you're doing blood magic. Don't get mad at me because he had to kill his son to save you, just to have his son get up out of the grave 3 days later and then disappear into a cloud at Transfiguration."
Yep.
That's not
We just recorded an episode that we haven't released yet about how it's all magic.
It's all witchcraft.
Yes.
It's like, what do you mean you celebrate the rising of a dead body and you celebrate it the first Sunday after the first full moon after spring equinox? What do you mean? That's the witchiest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yep, and don't forget
Yep.
that first Sunday of every month, you're gonna eat his body and drink his blood in remembrance of
Yep.
him.
Yeah,
Why do we do that?
because that makes sense. That makes so much sense.
And
Yeah.
then the Catholic Church, they believe, I forget what it's called, but that when you actually consume it, it turns into the body and the blood.
So they're cannibals. And he walks down the aisle in a Catholic church with the ball of incense. How is that different from fucking sage?
There's sage and frankincense. They talk about these herbs in the Bible. Come on. Moses was talking to a burning bush. Your God talked to him. He got high and had a whole conversation with God. You have to stop demonizing these things. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I feel that all religion is just everybody was on hallucinogens. Joseph Smith took some mushrooms. Moses was fucking on something. Like, that's all. And they had these hallucinations, and now they make laws about our bodies because of that.
It's called transubstantiation. Specific theological term for the change that occurs. Catholics believe that the physical substance of the bread and wine is entirely changed into the substance and the body and the blood of Christ, while the physical incidents, appearance, taste, and smell remain the same. So it is once you consume it and it's been blessed by the priest and stuff, it is magically turned into the flesh and the blood of a man who died 2,000 years ago.
But they're teaching this to kids and they're like, but don't tell them that two women can love each other. Like, that is so inappropriate, but we're going to eat this corpse and it's going to turn to blood as it goes down your throat. Like, that's okay. That's normal and appropriate. What?
Sexuality? No. Cannibalism? Yeah, we could.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like, you can kill your child.
right. I'm fine with killing babies, but I draw the line at two people in a loving relationship.
That's the worst thing you could do.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like, oh, well, you should only be together to have babies. Well, then what about if somebody can't have babies? Should they not be together? Or, it's like after they've stopped being of fertile age that they should just be apart. Like, it's just blah.
They never follow it through to the logical end. They don't think that far.
That's too
You don't
much
do that
work.
part at all. Mm-mm. Why? Because why are you not? Why are you stop where we told you to stop? Right at what you're doing is wrong. That's it. As far as that conversation needs to go, Christina, you're really dragging this out here, making life harder for the rest of us that just want to be able to do horrible shit in peace and say that
Right.
God's plan.
Yep. It's all God's plan. Oh my goodness. Are there any people from church that you still
That's a no.
have
I could see
contact with?
that face right now. That's a no.
Nobody from your past life? What about somebody that you want to get out? Like, is there somebody in your family or of a friend group or something from back then that you're like, God, I just hope every day that they finally come to their senses? No?
I don't care. Stay there. Stay right there.
right.
I can't. After having these conversations with believers for 2 years, and honestly, no one in my life wants to talk about it. The only reason I know that my mother has seen my lives is because I've seen her husband like go into my life, but he never says anything. And then like my little sister let it slip during the conversation one day, like, I was telling mommy, if that's what she's gonna do, let it. I was like, oh, so y'all talk about me? You talk about me, huh? What she say? I don't care. Don't tell me. Don't tell me what she said. What she said. Was she mad? And but I think when I'm like the black sheep, it's just like, oh, she's the bisexual and she's atheist. The devil has really gotten her. That's really how they chalk it up. Like the devil is just having his way with her. And I'm like,
Yep.
Ooh,
yeah,
sounds fun.
yeah, like
Right?
let's go with that because you can't show me God either. There's that.
Yeah.
This happens with you, and that I don't know which one is scarier. I don't know which one is scary.
I'm more afraid
Right.
of God than I am of the devil.
Mm-hmm.
And being used by him. The Holy
Right.
Spirit literally came over a man and compelled him to go to a neighboring town, slaughter 30 people to steal their garments, bring them back, and give them to his people at his wedding. That's what the Holy Spirit does. I don't want that. I
don't want
want.
that.
I don't want the desire or ability to go and just slaughter people for their clothes.
Yeah,
That's
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Why do you think God is so obsessed with foreskins?
Great question.
because the men that wrote about God are obsessed with foreskins.
But they're not gay.
They're not gay. They're not gay at all. I think like the way we talk about like even the foot washing. I grew up thinking that like washing feet was just washing feet. But in the original Hebrew,
It's blowjobs, right?
yeah, like
What?
washing feet was it's
Euphemism.
about sex. It's a euphemism for like I don't know if it was like blowjobs or hand jobs, but it had to do with the penis.
What?
Let's ask Trump. Was Trump washing Clinton's feet? Is that what you call it?
Hey Bubba, was he washing your was
Your
he washing? So when it talks about like Mary Magdalene, how like she was washing his feet with her tears and drying it with her hair, like now I look at anytime they mention foot washing in the Bible, I'm like, y'all nasty, y'all some freaks for real. Like, y'all really just a bunch of 69 gods. Honestly, you're freaky, freaky people, and the things that y'all talk about are very telling of how y'all get down. What? David and Jonathan? Not only do you have, what they demonize because they were lovers, Jonathan was like 20 years older than David. Nobody wants to talk about the fact that David was a child.
A literal child.
See, me and Christina, we're like, what? I don't know these people.
No.
I don't know. this
David was the
story.
one though that got the foreskins, right? He
Yeah.
was supposed to get 100 foreskins and he got 200
And he got
foreskins because
two-
he's
he
an
said,
overachiever.
He said, listen, I'm going to get you. I got that. Watch that. I got that in the back. I'm going to go grab you some more.
Mhm.
I've been collecting foreskins for
Yeah.
days. You know?
Because you got to touch dicks to get foreskins. You can't.
But it's not gay. It's not gay when you're doing it for God.
God was going to kill Abraham because he didn't circumcise one of the kids or something like that. So the mom circumcises them and takes the foreskin and touches it to Abraham.
What?
Why?
Why?
He sees it in your hand. Doesn't God see it? Like it's in your hand. Why you just wanted to touch his? You just wanted it to touch his people. You just wanted
And if God hates the foreskin so much, why did he design it that way?
It's God's plan. Don't worry about
Alright.
it. It's God's plan.
I don't know.
All
But
right.
yeah, David was a child. Well, young. They say young man. I'm thinking like early teens, right? But Jonathan was a grown ass man that was in love with this young man. And then the Bible talks about how they was in that field and he kept shooting the arrows so that the boy that was with them would go far to collect them. And David was like hiding behind the rock. And then the boy came and he would bring all the things back so he could shoot some more. And he's like, take all those back to the palace. Just take it back and I'll be there. And then these two is crying and kissing and fall on each other. They're exceeding. Hey, y'all is out here having sex in the field. Why is y'all being nasty? Y'all's out here being
But it's for
hard.
God, so it's fine.
Oh,
No,
my
it's not.
God.
And don't you ever tell anyone that that's what that story means. You're going to be like, first of all, that's brotherly love. Oh, yeah?
So it's incestuous because God likes that too.
Right.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. Jonathan, I guess, called David his soulmate and he took off all of his clothes and handed him his sword and his shield, butt naked. I could give you some stuff with my clothes on. I don't have to take all my clothes off. And what kind of sword exactly did you? Okay, never mind. None of my business. I wasn't there.
Okay, here's another business plan for you. You translate these Bible stories into these sexy gay stories and put them on Audible, and you'll make $1 million.
Sexy gay comic books.
They're going to be outside picketing and throwing stones in my window. I'm like, no, you guys not. I would though. I'm considering that as well.
Think about it.
Because when I talk about the stories to people, I'm like, we hear about them like Job. What do we learn about Job? Job was a servant of God and he went through all this stuff that God set him up for.
He's such a prankster.
No one talks about the fact that he got his kids back, not the same ones. Okay. Because God let them get killed by a tornado. All of them at the same time. And he's like, well, Job was faithful. Job was something.
Tell us.
I don't know this story. So he just gave him somebody else's kids?
So the story of Job is where the sons of God were presenting themselves in heaven, the monthly meeting, I guess. I don't know. And Satan came with them. Now, that's odd because I thought Satan got cast out of heaven. Why is he still at the monthly meeting? Why is he still coming back? Did you kick him out or is it like, what is this? Anyway.
He's a shareholder.
It's an open door policy. You see.
He's like, you get out of here and you come back next month for the meeting. What? And then, so he's like, what you been doing? I'm paraphrasing because, the Bible talks weird.
No, it
Where you
definitely
been?
says that.
He's like, where you been? And he's like, just walking up and down in the earth. He literally says, walking back and forth in the earth. That's all he was doing. He was like, "Oh, have you considered Job?" And he's like, "Well, I mean, yeah, but you have like a hedge around him. Blessed him. Why would he curse you?" He's like, "I bet you won't curse me." All right, remove the hedge. This is the conversation between God and Satan right now. And he's like, "Okay, if you remove your hedge, he'll curse you to your face. He'll curse you." And he goes, "All right." He removed the hedge and he says, "Touch everything except his body." He lost his house. He lost all of his animals. All of his kids got killed. And then he was like, "Well, look, he's still standing strong." He was like, "Yeah, well, let me touch his body." He goes, "All right, just don't kill him." Boils, diseases. His skin was falling off of it. His friends come over and they're like, "You had to have done something to piss God off. Like, you got what sin have you committed that you're not telling us about?" He's like, "I've done nothing. I don't know what's going on here." And then so I always talk about how like Job is crying out to God trying to get understanding for 37 chapters of this book. It's not until chapter 38 that God responds to him. And the way that he responds to him is, "But who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? Did you put the stars in the sky? Did you put the planets there? Who are you?" And I'm like, his skin is falling off his bones to know why you killed all his kids. Why you had to do this to this man? Because he literally starts the story off by saying how perfect and upright Job was. It doesn't matter if you measure up. He's going to fuck you over to prove a point to Satan that he created.
Wow.
I would learn the whole Bible if you were telling the stories like this.
Yeah.
He gave him like all his stuff back. He like in the story, he gets all of his wealth and stuff back. And then his wife has more kids.
Because he can't bring back those kids, because even though he can do everything, he can't do that.
I only bring back my personal child, who is also myself. Right.
Yeah. I only brought him back because it was me and I had to come back to tell you, to keep that going. But I'm like, even in that, no one considers his wife.
Right.
Job's wife doesn't even have a name in the story. It's just Job's wife.
Is she the one that turns to salt?
That's Lot's wife.
Lot's
Lot's wife. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like she tried to get him to curse God. He killed her kids. Like I'd curse him too. I'd do a lot more if I could, but I'd curse God too. But she's looked at as like this character that is antagonistic in the story because she was trying to get him to go against God. I'm like, y'all are putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable. You know what I mean? Y'all aren't seeing what we're supposed to be seeing
Right.
here.
She sounds great to me. I like her already.
My kind of gal.
Oh my gosh. I can't even. Before we move on to 7 Minutes in Heaven, what do you think happens when we die now that you've left religion?
I don't know.
Or do you care?
I don't care. And that's my thing. Like, I don't know what happened before I got here. Nobody asked me if I wanted to come here, because if they had asked me, I'd have asked for like a little bit of a preview, like what am I getting into? And they would be like, "Yeah, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that." And I'd be like, "No, I'm gonna stay here." Like if that's what I don't know what we were doing, but I would have
Right.
stayed there instead of coming here. So after this, I don't know what happens. All I know is that we're here now, and here's wild because so many of us are focused on where we're going next. I'm like,
Right.
y'all are really just saying, "Fuck the house, huh? Yeah, you guys are about to move on, so don't clean up. Just let the
Right.
mice and roaches just take over the joint." Cool. That's what it feels
Right.
like.
That's what they don't
Yeah.
care about, saving the planet or worrying themselves about politics, because they're like, I'm not staying here.
Going to heaven. Did you guys
Yep.
hear about was it September when like Jesus was supposed to return?
The rapture? Oh, yeah. Mhm.
We had a rapture episode. We love the rapture. We love to hate it.
We asked the burning questions of, if you're taking a shit, does he just take you? Does he let you pull your pants up, or does he just pull you through the fucking ceiling with your
I would
pants
hope.
down?
Like, well, and then do you keep shitting on the way down? Like as you're going up, is the shit just coming down?
Does he pull people out of their graves? Like, did their decomposing bodies go up too? Because Aaliyah
That's
informed
later.
us that. Oh, was that later?
Yeah, because doesn't the rapture happen? They take the alive people, and then when Jesus comes, then he comes and lets the dead people come up or something like that, right?
From the way I was taught was like after the dead in Christ are going to rise, and then we that remain are going to get caught up to meet them in the air.
Okay.
Why are we in the air? Like, why do I have to go up to come back down here? I never understood that either. Like, and if I'm going to go somewhere, don't tell me I'm coming back here.
Right.
Like, you took the allure of going.
They always teach us never to go to a second location anyway. It's safer not to go.
Exactly. Right. And it's not even in the Bible, right? Like we learned about in that episode, it was just some dude who had like a head injury, right? He fell off a horse, and people are like,
Mhm.
That sounds legit. Like,
Yeah.
listen to this guy.
I was explaining that to someone that I know in real life, and they literally were like, "Yeah, it was a vision from God." And I'm like, "No, no, no.
It's head trauma. Head trauma.
Yeah, it's head trauma. But if somebody came to you right now and said that that happened, they'd be like, "Nuh-uh, you need to go see someone." But you're willing to take the word of Paul, who also fell off of a horse and was concussed and said he saw Jesus? That's the guy? That's
Right.
him?
And
You're like,
playing telephone for thousands of years, like,
Right.
sure, the message hasn't changed at all. It's completely accurate.
And if a woman says it, she's fucking delusional and needs to go have a lobotomy.
Yeah, she's a witch.
Or get burned at the stake."
Yep.
Right.
Mhm.
she's scared of the witch. Even though Paul went to go see the witch of Endor. Never mind. Again,
Paul, I hate Paul. I didn't realize how much I hated Paul until recently, but like I hate that man.
yeah, most Christians are not Christ followers. They're Pauline. Paul was funny though. He had a way of like dealing with the disciples and then being like going back to the Gentiles and being like, fuck all that. We don't got to do everything they said. And so many people follow him. So it's like, okay, well, if you're gonna believe Paul on this, what about when Jesus said this? And you're like, they're not disagreeing. They quite literally are saying the exact opposite.
Right.
And they're like, no, all of the scripture is true. All right, which part of it? All of it.
All of it, of course.
Someone's wrong here.
It's like Paul never even met Jesus, other than in his head trauma.
Right, except for when he fell off the horse and bumped his
So
head.
what do you mean he's the one that formed the church, but never met the guy that said the things and doesn't do the things that the guy said with the things? But hey, quick question. Sorry, one last thing before we move on. So when Jesus fed the 5,000, I this is my obsession recently. When he fed the 5,000, do you think he cooked the fish?
With what?
Right. Were the people just eating sushi then?
The men were eating sushi.
Did the women get the loaves or no?
The thing,
They
like
just starved.
at the time, so we're talking about fish, like 2 fish, 5 loaves, and he turned it into enough food to feed. When they say 5,000, they're only counting men. They're not counting women and children in that number. They were never counted. So if they had their wives and children with them, then okay, you'd have to consider feeding them. No one was cooking anything. It doesn't say that they were cooking these things over fire. No, they were just passing out ghost replicated tilapia.
The things that they won't believe in when they have proof in front of their face. Trans people can't possibly exist, but magic fish times 5,000, 2,000
Times
years ago.
10,000,
That's
15,000.
right. That's logical.
But then ask, well, why do 25,000 people die of starvation every day? And it's like, oh, well, that's not, you want God to be a genie?
Right.
He
Well,
was
as
a genie
matter
back
of
then.
fact, yes, I want him to be a fucking genie. Call him what you want to call him. Call him Voldemort. You can call him whatever you want to call this man. If he can make 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread enough to feed over 5,000 people, there should be no reason why we have food deserts. There should be no reason why people are dying of starvation. There should be no reason.
Because if he's the same God back
Yeah.
then as he is today, yesterday, today, and forever, then why did he care more about those people back then and was willing to feed the people back then, but he doesn't give a shit about the people out here today? So he was able to make something out of nothing back then, but he can't do it today. That's
Right.
his plan?
Jesus died, apparently.
Yeah.
is what-
Okay. Well, that ended that.
Then he should stop creating people then. Like, if that's the case, then people should have stopped when the whole thing was over. We should just close the chapter on the book.
Close
And
up
be like,
shop.
fun little experiment. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what are we doing?
And that's what pisses me off about the whole SNAP thing. When the government shut down and they didn't think they were going to be able to pay for SNAP, the churches should have been like, all right, this is what we've been fucking doing all this work for all these years. Like, it's go time. Yep,
Listen, guys,
exactly.
They're
Yep.
all,
But no.
run, lock the doors.
the pores are coming. What?
Right.
That was so crazy to see. And to see the pastors responding like, well, she was a witch. Why would she do that? No, you're just embarrassed because your true moral compass was put on display in the age of Aquarius, where we have access to all kinds of information, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's one girl who's doing a deep dive into the IRS shit and where the money's going and following the trail. And you know what? If they would have just given the formula, or, you know, I'm sure there's a million other people who have come to churches that didn't put it on TikTok asking for something simple. and they said no. If you would have just said yes, none of this would be happening. But you said no, and now you're getting fucking audited. And I hope that your fucking
Me too.
doors shut.
I'm excited about it. I want all the doors to shut. I think churches should be taxed. They should not be able to grift the way that they're grifting. And, no, tax them.
I love the Righteous Gemstones show. And it's about a mega church and, all the shit that comes along with it, all the money, all the grifting. And it's hilarious. But after a while, it gets sad. It's like, this is really fucking happening. Like, this is based on it's just an amalgamation of all the mega churches. And, the writers are pulling from somewhere. And that shit is depressing
Yeah.
because they could feed so many people, clothe so many people. And instead, they're sitting in these fucking $7 million houses with their private jets and
Mhm.
But that's
Yeah.
God's
And-
plan.
That's God's plan.
right. Yes.
Because the man,
Because it's from they make their money from, outside sources, like when they write a book or they do with it. No, you're getting that money from your fucking
Yeah.
tithes.
they're paying for that. They're paying for that.
Yep.
For all of your locations that you have, because you have to have multiple sites for the same church just to have more
Mhm.
people there to pay tithes and offerings. But you don't offer more like resources. Your
Right.
giving is never as big as you're taking ever.
Right.
And it's never going to be. Of course, we know that there are churches who have these bleeding hearts and they really want to do good, but you can't align yourself with this at all and say, this is good. Because when those churches do go out to give food or clothes and things like that, you're taking this doctrine with you. And it's in the name of Jesus that you're going. That's not helping.
And it's like conditional giving.
Very
Yeah.
conditional.
Yeah. There's always strings, and that just seems to
It's
go
not even
against-
strings. It's
Right.
it's
Yeah.
chains, it's ropes, they've
Yeah.
got the biggest hold on people.
I had to apologize and forgive myself for being a part of it, because I really thought in my mind that I was doing the right thing. And it was like, dang, I really did. How many people did I put in bondage? Like, I remember we used to give out food on the street that had a methadone clinic. So we would see a lot of people who had addiction, substance abuse issues and things like that. And I never felt like they were beneath me or anything like that. So I had no problem going up to them and praying with them and holding their hands and hugging them. I had no problem with that. But I knew that in my mind, I was helping someone be better. And when I think about it, it's like, better for what? Am I trying to get them to be better for themselves, or am I trying to check off like a tally in the God book? Like, oh, look, she brought another one to Jesus.
Right.
And I don't think I was able to separate it at the time. Now when I do those things, it's like, oh, hungry, here, eat. You have to eat. If I can help you, I'll help you. It doesn't matter. There's nothing attached to it now. I don't even talk
Right.
about it. You're not going to hear me talk about things that we do, like in neighborhoods and stuff like that on social media. It's just not something I do, because people need to help people, period.
Yep.
And you can do that just because you're a good person, not because you're trying to get heaven points.
Moral desserts. Yeah. That's why I always called missions and all that stuff religious timeshare, because that's all it is. You have to listen to my spiel and how many people fall for it so that I can bring you filters for water or build you a house or build a church in your tiny little village. And you feel obligated to
Mhm.
join or worship because we brought you stuff.
Right.
No.
I'm going to start making people listen to the podcast when I'm like, you want some food? Check this podcast out.
Right. When you
There
get
you
to
go.
the end of it, there will be a button for you to click on that, and that will let us know that you have actually completed the episode, and then we'll bring
Right.
you a meal.
Right.
Yep.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave
Yeah.
a rating.
Subscribe. I know you're hungry and outside, but I think it's important that you get this into your psyche so it helps you
Right.
make better choices
Let
for
it
yourself.
seep in. Let this feed you first, and then we will feed you.
Right.
Like with the formula, was it I think it was Joel Osteen. Osteen?
Mhm.
Who
I don't know how to
cares?
say.
He doesn't deserve to have his name pronounced correctly.
Exactly.
Who gives a shit?
I'm sorry that your baby's starving and crying in the background, but fill out this form. It'll be like 2 weeks, and then maybe we'll send you a $17 can of formula. We have to run it by the board first, and then
Run it by the board as you back up his new Rolls Royce. Knock it off. Someone knock it off.
Just cut the shit. Cut the shit. Christina, where do you want to be found on the internet? Like, what are your socials?
Well, I am on TikTok, and I do a Get Ready With Me in the mornings from 7 to 9. and then I do battles at night. I have my podcast, I'll Take It From Here with Christina Carroll. And then I'm on YouTube at its_Christina Carroll. I don't have any content on there yet, but that's where you'll be able to find me.
We like to end our episodes with 7 Minutes in Heaven because it can kind of get deep and we want to bring some levity to the situation. I appreciate everything that you've talked about today, but all of us appreciate it. We're so happy that you're here. And I have a few questions for you.
Just seven fun little questions.
Only 7. That's how I know they're hard questions. Go ahead.
They're great. You'll love them.
So first question, fuck, marry, kill, Judas, a cherubim. Is that how you say it? Cherubim?
Mhm.
Okay. Which, for
Who
those
gives
of
a
us who
shit?
don't know, is an angel. 4 wings, 4 faces, human, lion, ox, and eagle, and a body covered in eyes. So Judas, a cherubim, or Joel Osteen.
I'm going to kill that fucking eye thing. The cherubim has. I don't do bugs. And that just sounds like a scary ass bug. I'm going to take the most blunt object that I can find. I'm going to beat it until it stops moving. Kill that thing. What? Ew. I'm going to marry Judas.
Okay.
Marry Judas. And I'm gonna fuck Joel. I'm not even gonna hold you down. I'm gonna fuck Joel and I'm gonna blackmail him for the rest of his life.
Love
I'm
that.
There you go.
I'm going to have my own Rolls Royce and whatever I
right.
want. Because if you don't, I'm telling. I'm
Yeah.
going to do a tell-all. What do you want to do, Joel? How do you want to fix this, huh? This is reparations for all these people that you're taking money from. Ladies, I got y'all. Don't worry. I got this. And I will give a percentage to like some foundation, but I'm going to live very comfortably for the rest of my life off of Joel Osteen.
Perfect. That's perfect. What's the most ridiculous thing you believed in terms of scripture or doctrine in your past religious life?
All of it.
I think because pick something. It's so like that's such a hard question.
Right.
Yeah, I
Like,
guess.
uh,
Noah's Ark is always the good go-to. Like, can you believe you believed that?
But even like, okay, which I think is a sinister thing, was like the death angel during the plagues, right? Because in that story, God is hardening Pharaoh's heart. He tells Moses that he's going to harden Pharaoh's heart. So when Pharaoh says, I'm going to let your people go, y'all have already wreaked enough havoc here. Take your people and get the fuck out of here. And he's like, all right, bet. God was like, nah, I got one more. He's like, do me a favor, tell all your people to put the blood of the lamb over the door. And if they don't put the blood of the lamb over the door, they're gonna get this work just like the firstborn of Egypt. So they put the blood over the door and they go to bed. And then this death angel goes by the houses and is sniffing the door to see if there's blood at the top, apparently. And if they don't, all the firstborn are unalive or killed because God said really fuck them kids. Like he really did. He said fuck them all. But that was one of the things I was like, I really thought that there was a death angel.
Yeah, I'm picturing like a
Oh.
Dementor or something from Harry Potter.
Yes,
Right.
picture that. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah. All right. Who do you think is the hottest deity? And that could be any character, mythological figure from religion or any culture.
I mean, it would have to be, of course, one of the Greek gods. You know what I mean? Because they show up when they put them in pictures. I've seen a picture of Jesus. Fucking yuck. Ew.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. No.
Yuck.
Ew. Really? Ew. And then like some of the other ones that have like the tongues hanging out of the mouth and the 8 million hands. None of that shit is sexy. It has to be a Greek god. It'll probably be like Zeus or some shit. I don't want to know any more about them because don't ruin this for me, okay? Thank you. Just let me look at you.
Right. Okay. And what is your Jello salad? And for non-Mormons, this means, is there any dish from your former church or religious family gatherings that you still make or enjoy?
I don't like to cook.
Period.
Like, no, I'm the same takeout that I would have brought to the church function, the same one I'm going to bring to the function post church. Like, I bring drinks, you know.
There you go. Blood of Christ? Is that what? Yeah.
Hello, I brought the blood of the lamb, ladies and gentlemen. Let us indulge and do this as often as the Bible says. Do that, you know,
As often as we meet,
as often as we meet. Yes,
red wine for all.
If you were to start a cult today, what would the uniform be?
probably all white. I think I don't know. Just something if it's going to be culty, like you know.
Yeah.
We would have a lot of off the shoulder. We would look Greek. Am I supposed to be what is that? What is
White togas?
Did you just discover something about yourself right
I'm
now? You're like,
thinking-
wait a damn minute.
I'm attracted to the deities. I get down with comfy clothing. Yeah, just wrap some fabric around me. Hell
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
don't be starved. I
And
mean,
then
what
have
do you
somebody
do?
just feeding you grapes like this.
Yes, please and thank you.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, I just take it off and sling
Yeah.
it. My kind of garb. I like it. Yeah, that's it.
I like it.
All right. What is your favorite curse word?
All of them. I do say fuck a lot. I really do. I just what the fuck? Like I don't know. I say fuck a lot.
Yeah.
Probably more than I should.
Fuck's a
for
good
me.
one. It's the best one.
My
Right.
favorite.
I get
Very
creative
versatile.
sometimes depending on the conversation I'm having or who I'm yelling at. I can get pretty creative. It gets really good.
And what is your guilty pleasure?
Or maybe there's no guilt.
There's no guilt in my pleasures. I don't know. I just
Besides Twizzlers.
well, I guess naps. I take more naps than my fair share. Because I like to sleep.
As you should, though.
Yeah.
I think everyone needs more sleep.
You're a busy
Nope.
lady.
Don't give me a few minutes. Do not give me a few minutes. Like I was on the phone with Ty earlier, and I was like, "All right, I gotta shower, get dressed. I have the girls going Godless at 4." She was like, "Oh, Christina, you don't have time. You're running late." I was like, "Yeah, but I got time for about 20 minutes." So I set a timer for 20 minutes, and I took a nap. And then I got up and I ran around the house like a mad person.
There's always time.
There's always time for sleep.
And weed. There's always time for sleep and weed.
Hallelujah, I am saved, I'm so glad I am. Glory, 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 glory to God.
Thanks for listening to Girls Gone Godless. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this episode. It helps heathens like you find bitches like us. Check the link in the show notes to stay up to date on the latest heathen news and how you can become a guest on the show, or leave us a tip if you're feeling generous. See you next Sunday. Stay blasphemous.